16th century in Japan, a period marked by a profound crisis for the empire. The internal feudal wars that erupted in the 1570s were the beginning of the nearly century-long Sengoku Jidai era. During this time, Japan lacked a unified authority, experiencing ongoing civil conflicts. By the end of the 15th century, Japan's territory was nearly equivalent to its modern size. In comparison to neighboring states such as China and Korea, Japan was not only politically weak but also economically less advanced. In the 16th century, Japan saw the arrival of Spanish and Portuguese traders who served as intermediaries in the East Asian trade, exchanging European goods for Japanese silver. As these Europeans primarily came from southern lands, the Japanese referred to them as barbarians from the south. All these historical events will be woven into the storyline of Assassin's Creed Red. The Japanese rulers found trade with foreigners advantageous, willingly collaborating with merchants and missionaries, sometimes even embracing Christianity. Due to these events, the Japanese islands continued to witness internal conflicts among samurai clans. Many shoguns were dissatisfied with the ongoing discord. As the state of disunity became a socio-political norm, individuals emerged with a desire to unite the empire. One such figure was Oda Nobunaga, a wealthy ruler of the Owari province. His story will be directly intertwined with one of the protagonists in Assassin's Creed Red. Yasuke hailed from the Makua people, and his birth name was Isufo. However, this theory lacks substantial evidence. For instance, there was no documented significant contact between the Makuans and the Portuguese until 1585. Nevertheless, Ubisoft's storytellers have ample room for adapting these historical lines. As soon as the Europeans set foot on Japanese shores, rumors circulated that they brought with them a real demon. Yasuke's appearance left a lasting impression as he was exceptionally tall and had a muscular physique. Oda Nobunaga, upon meeting him, was so impressed that he immediately asked Alessandro to gift him. It was Nobunaga who bestowed upon him the name Yasuke. In reality, Yasuke is a legendary figure in Japanese history. However, information about him is scarce, and what is known often sparks debates among historians. Nevertheless, he is the perfect character for the Assassin's Creed lore. Let me explain. Yasuke quickly acquired a commendable level of proficiency in the Japanese language, mastering it in just a couple of months. He was soon provided with fitting armor and subjected to rigorous training, where he showcased remarkable results within a few days. Oda Nobunaga proudly noted that Yasuke's innate talent equaled the strength of 10 seasoned warriors. Subsequently, he appointed the former slave as a full-fledged samurai, gifting him a ceremonial katana. These events will undoubtedly serve as the foundation for Assassin's Creed Red. Interestingly, for the first time in the series, we will be playing as a character who actually existed in history. It is also worth noting that trade with European countries brought modern technologies to Japan at that time: firearms, gunpowder, and other innovations. The cultural and financial influence of Europe became so potent that Japanese rulers began to feel deep fear and dependence on them. Hence, when negative events occurred in the country, they were often attributed to Europeans. In the first half of the 16th century, there were uprisings in provinces due to tax increases. However, they were quelled. Consequently, a ban was imposed on all foreign products and goods. Japan literally closed itself off from the outside world. At that point, Yasuke had already become a retainer of Oda Nobunaga and even fought for him in many battles. However, Nobunaga was betrayed by his own samurai team, forcing him to commit harakiri. Initially, Yasuke was also supposed to be killed, but the traitors claimed that he was not Japanese and not deserve such an honorable death. Therefore, they spared his life and sent him to the church in Kyoto. After this event, Yasuke simply disappeared, leaving no evidence behind. This indeed became one of the historical mysteries where information about the fate of the legendary samurai vanished. As can be understood from this, Ubisoft has numerous opportunities to continue this story. The entire backstory with Europeans and Alessandro Valignano will unfold at the beginning of the game. The subsequent uprisings and the disappearance of Yasuke will form the main plot. He will strive to avenge the betrayers of Oda Nobunaga and unite with the Assassins Brotherhood to pursue this goal. Currently, we know nothing about his further fate, but devs have complete creative freedom. They can introduce many interesting elements into the plot based on the concept of the Assassin's lore. Around that time, the legendary assassin Hattori Hanzo was alive, which could add even more intrigue to the storyline. It's worth noting that Oda Nobunaga himself has been part of the Assassin's Creed lore since 2014. While he initially appeared in Assassin's Creed Memories, the exploration of him as a fully fledged character in the main game holds great significance. Nobunaga deserves this, given that he was a military leader of an entire nation and one of the most prominent samurais in history, dedicating his life to the unification of the country. In Assassin's Creed universe, Hattori Hanzo often helped Nobunaga, therefore both of them will likely appear in Red, and Yasuke will encounter Hattori and eventually join the the Brotherhood. What's crucial is that during the uprising in the Iga province, Oda Nobunaga's warriors killed Fujibayashi Nagato. He is the father of Naoe, one of the protagonists. Now, I understand how the two main characters can meet. Their stories literally intersect, although initially they might be antagonists, but all the events will likely lead to their peaceful collaboration. Conceptually, Ubisoft's new game looks promising. Devs need to provide us not only with Japanese history and local conflicts, but with a global narrative that will captivate a broad audience. Interesting elements include the tense atmosphere of Japan during the Sengoku era and the confrontation with Europe. Logically, the game will feature not only assassins and Templars, but also shinobi and samurai, adding significant potential and uniqueness to the story. However, I understand your worries about the script being written by the authors of Odyssey. This could pose a real problem, as the much anticipated game set in ancient Greece turned out to be empty and strange in terms of the plot. As for the map, it will be huge, surpassing the size of England in Valhalla, but smaller than Odyssey. It means that Red will have a world scale between 120 and 256 square kilometers. But one thing is clear, the open world will be vast. The concept of a single city has returned only in Mirage, not as a constant feature as many might have thought. In Assassin's Creed Red, forests, fields, outposts, and mini-cities will make a comeback, reminiscent of the mythological trilogy. The primary mode of transportation will be horses, as parkour logically takes a backseat. However, a new updated mechanic similar to the grappling hook in Syndicate will be introduced. As the game unfolds in the 16th century, it is expected that enemies will be equipped with cannons. It is currently unknown if the protagonist will have access to them, but players will undoubtedly need to dodge bullets, adding more dynamics to gameplay. Unfortunately, expectations regarding graphics have slightly diminished. Although the series director promised a real next-gen experience, the visuals are likely to be at a similar level. The development of Red began in 2018, and the game uses the same engine with improvements. However, there's a positive aspect. The game's development is already complete, although the project still needs polishing and bug fixes. Ubisoft has given the team an entire year for post-production, which is a rare occurrence for the studio. Moreover, significant attention is devoted to the story and setting. Real historians are contributing to the game, and talented artists are bringing true beauty to Japan. The narrative is also connected to the existing Assassin's Creed lore, adding additional intrigue to the project. All these factors are generating hype, especially for those who have long dreamed of a Japanese setting in the Assassin's Creed franchise. Subscribe.